Functioning labels. Neurotypical people love to use them. Us autistics hate them with a burning, dying passion. But however, I feel like they talk to us so much to the point where even an autistic person, aka me, started to use them. And in this video, we were explaining why you, yes, you watching, why you should not be using functioning labels to describe autistic people. So, let's go! Okay, before we start, look at my neon light thriving right next to my bed. And also now, look, my mirror is up. Let's get into the actual video before I just get distracted and start talking about everything on earth. Functioning labels. Those who are watching and who don't have autism probably are like, actually, what are functioning labels? Let me explain to you. Functioning labels are terminology often used such as high functioning and low functioning to describe someone's autism. It's usually used by neurotypical people, aka those without autism, and oftentimes it's used to aid people without autism of like diagnosis and to understand it more. So then they are able to understand the support and needs that we need for help. Does that make any sense? And actually, fun fact, I think when I was like 15, 16, 17, I used to use functioning labels a lot. And I think someone pointed it out and I was just like, that's a good point. So let me go and explain to you why I should never use them and why you should never use them. Firstly, it kind of goes against the actual term of autism spectrum. We call it a spectrum, and a spectrum is not a linear line. It's not high functioning and all the way at the end, low functioning. No, because that makes zero sense. A spectrum is more wide. It's more like a circle where there is no beginning and no end, and literally anyone can be at different points for different things. I've seen an Instagram post and Princess Aspen use, which I actually personally like, is a color wheel. Everyone on the color wheel in the autism spectrum is going to be a different color. That color is not less or more. That color represents their strengths, their weaknesses, and areas where they need help in. And that way, we as autistic people are able to gain support in those specific areas. And that is because every single person on the autism spectrum is different. So we're gonna need different support with different needs. I think I explained this later in the video, but I think it's a good point to also play here that every autistic person is never the same and we all have different needs. So we're all gonna need different support. If autistic people are all different, then why are we being categorized in a line with terms such as high functioning and low functioning? Nah. Reason number 2, these functioning labels are too broad. High functioning and low functioning, in my opinion, they sound very niche and very like tiny little categories. For those tiny little categories, why are they so broad and why are so many people put in them? With high functioning, it's such an exact category and it's so unclear. Like no one knows what the fuck high functioning is and no one knows what low functioning is. It just doesn't make sense. Like it's so like narrow, but yet vague. Like even the term high functioning is a vague term. And the thing is, it's so vague that like even when trying to describe it, I'm just there like, what is the description? It's so vague and such a weird term. Like both of them are so odd because to one person it means one thing and to another person it means something else. So that's why I think it makes no sense and why I do not think we should be following these vague terms and labels. There's no like guidelines. There's only like a broadness, and that guideline has been taught to you by the media. Oh, we love the media. Media representation of autism has always been really messy. When it comes to the function labels, the media likes to eat on them like no tomorrow. Like, it's even presented within TV shows and films, so even neurotypical people are like, oh my god, that's a high functioning autistic. Oh my god, that's a low functioning autistic. When in actual fact, get to know the person. That's because there's only 2 types of autistic people represented within autistic media. Your high functioning, which is like your Sheldon Coopers and all the stereotypes there, and your low functioning, which are usually presented within like children need adverts and stuff like that, so you are able to donate. So basically there's not a diverse range of autistic representation. So basically that's why function labels almost get introduced, because we are only shown these 2 types of autistic people and not everyone. Have a diverse spectrum of representation and to show people from the entire spectrum. And another reason why I just don't like them is because it doesn't help us at all. It doesn't help any autistic. It actually makes us feel shit and worse. As me, being labeled as high functioning, it kind of neglects all my struggles. It makes me feel like you are on your own, you have to do this. And it's kind of a struggle because yeah, I still struggle with things. For me, one of the biggest struggles I have, especially at the moment, is that I can get very overwhelmed with thoughts, and thoughts can lead me to overload and to meltdown quickly, and it takes a while for me to get out of it. However, because I'm classified as high functioning, that struggle is ignored. I do not get any support for that at all. No. And at school, it was exactly like that. During my sixth form, which was aka high school for Americans, during school, I was labeled as one of the high functioning autistic kids because I was, for example, be able to do things by myself and I was independent. However, because of that independence, I then wasn't given support, and the Senko and the whole entire special needs team, basically, I got ignored by them. My needs were ignored because at the end of the day, I was able to do stuff by myself. However, I still needed help with exams and stress and managing friendships and everything basically. But again, because I was classified as high functioning, I got ignored, and that's why I don't like these labels, because they ignore people and they ignore the struggles, and we continue to struggle daily with those labels being thrown around. We get neglected because we don't get the support we need. Also, another reason why I think they personally suck, because no one really gets help. Because these are, again, like I said, vague and generalized terms. Every child with autism and every adult with autism is different. So the support they're gonna need is different, and the ways we cope are going to be different. Even the classic examples of stimming, there are different ways that I will stim, or that I stimmed when I was a child versus stimming now, that are completely different. But that does not mean my autistic identity is less. So from when I was a child, which I still think I do this sometimes, to be honest, when I get very excited, I do this. Like, I get very excited, my arms just do this, and I fly away like a bird. And now, for example, when I get very nervous, what I'll end up doing is I'll start playing with my fingers, and I'll just start touching and moving to a beat, because that's what helps me. However, that does not mean every single autistic person does. There are different ways we can cope and we will deal with it. But because of the different ways, those general terms of high and low functioning, let's just say, do not actually help us, because they're so generalized that it's almost like, okay, we'll apply the same help you need to everyone. And again, we're a spectrum, we're different. So why are you treating us the same? No one. How can we improve this? Firstly, do not say to my face, oh my god, you're high functioning. No. What not to do? Do not call us high or low functioning and then expect us to deal with it. Actually talk to us when we're not having a freaking meltdown, or we're overwhelmed, or we're dealing with sensory overload. And actually ask us, hey, what support can I give to you during different things such as sensory overload, and just being there for them, like listening. View it as color wheel. Our color wheel is fabulous, isn't it? Every color on this color wheel is equally as valid and equally as loved. So, and each person on that color wheel would deal with different things in different ways. So, instead of putting us on this like weird little scale with these vague ass terms, why don't you understand what our strengths are and what we need help with, and assign us to a unique color. Personally, if I could choose this unique color, I would be a gorgeous coral shade. That color is still valid, and you are able to get unique support that you as an autistic person needs, because again, you wouldn't do this with a neurotypical person. So learn about their autism, learn about them, learn what makes them feel good, what makes them feel shitty, what helps them, what doesn't. Learn about them, and then learn the ways that can help them feel comforted, feel soothed, and help them feel loved. Just call them autistic. You do not need to call them, you have high functioning autism. No, you have autism. Just treat them as a human being. Learn about the ways you can support them, like the ways you would learn to support a neurotypical person. And with all that being said, I think we are done. I hope you enjoyed this. Comment down below any more autism videos you want to see. Please like, subscribe, share. You know what to do, and I shall see you guys very, very soon. Cheers, adios, goodbye people, goodbye.